Yay. All right. I think we're live. I think. Let's see. Hey, folks. How's it going? Welcome to Midnight Books. There's Gabe right there with me. We are here at Mike Night at Midnight, and we are honoring the 53rd anniversary of the Chicano Moratorium. We have two amazing Chicanx poets in the house today, Matt Sedillo and Jesenia Chavez, and it's open mic for the people, so we hope to see you. We're here until 8 p.m. Pacific time. Head over to Whittier and enjoy the show. Enjoy the show, and there's time for you to join us. So I'm going to pop this up, and here's all the rest of the gente here in the house. So we can't wait for you to join us. All right. So I think yes, we're good. Okay. So this will be over here to capture all the fun. Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. Okay. Yay. Okay, welcome. So we have the mic, Liz. If you want to put your book here too, you can. This is the community space. I looked at the crowd when I got your table like it didn't let it. It was a book, you know.
It's not for everyone, but I'm
a fan.
Oh.
And when you can like open it up, you know, I think it's great. That's my pencil. And you have my
yeah.
So Lou number, you mind giving everybody a pencil or a pen in your pocket? And Soul, can you give everyone a piece of paper? Right, Luna and Soul are coming around and you can reply. If you know you have already a pen or pencil, you can, it's your choice if you want to accept one of ours. All right, and Soul, you guys are long. And one for you. Oh, and Soul. Okay. Helper. I'm gonna send you to Jesenia's class, helper class. Yeah, it's me. So, okay, thank you. And one for you. Okay. All right. Have a seat.
Yeah, actually, let's start.
Oh, it's got a Selena pen. That's nice. Welcome, Momenteo. Thank you everyone for being here. Welcome to Mike Night at Midnight. We're here with the LA Poet Society. I'm Jessica. We're here every last Saturday of the month with our open mic. And before we continue, I want to read the land acknowledgement. I want to acknowledge all of the indigenous, all of our ancestors, wherever it is that where your heritage is, where you grew up, where you reside, please call home. I want to acknowledge all of you, all your people. And especially in particular where we stand, I want to acknowledge Chimbonga and our neighbors, the Chumash. I want to also acknowledge the Tavian, the Fernandeño, the Gabrieleño, and all the indigenous brothers and sisters that came before us and that continue to take care of the land, the new generation, and also to you. And may you all continue to be good caretakers of Mother Earth. And I just ask that, you know, the space is a space of respect and of love and mutual support and acknowledgement. And it's a safe space. And, you know, if any time we feel it's not being a safe space, we will definitely address, but everything's been harmonious in this space. I want to thank Gabe and Midnight Books for having us here and being a home for our open mic. And thank you all for being here. And thank you for coming. Also, I want to acknowledge all of the beautiful energy of our ancestors and the spirit of the East, which is where the sun rises. That's like the spirit of the beginning. That's the spirit of the children. I want to also acknowledge the energy of the West. I'm just kind of vibing out where I think the West. The West, this is where things end. This is where the sun sets. This is also the energy of the feminine. Acknowledge the energy of the South. South. And also the energy of the North. And this is where our elders are. Mother Earth. Holds us every day, supports us, houses us, raises us, keeps us. Honor the spirit, Father Sky, higher voice, intuition, higher powers of the all. And if you don't mind, keep your hand up. Honor the spirit. One more. Put your hand up and bring it to your heart. Honor your spirit, all that you are, everything you do. All of you are magical beings. You all have the power to create. You all have the power to make choices. Your instincts, listen to those. That's always your goddess power. You all have that. Honor your all right. Thank you so much. And I just always like to start with the land acknowledgement, and it's also recognizing, you know, the energies. I mean, we walk in these energies every day, you know, around, within, and through us. So I feel like sometimes we need to be reminded who we are, you know, that we are of Earth, that we are caretakers also of Earth, and be conscious of what we do and the effects it has, you know, around us, and how we also embrace things, you know, that happen to us. So there's always that reciprocation, and a lot of it, you know, it's very positive. It's positive. A lot of times I feel like in our lives we get too negative, you know, go to negative and dwell in it, and sometimes you need a friend to be like, hey, look how amazing you are. You know, look how much beauty you have and how much energy you have and how much creativity you have. You know, because you are that. Always, be reminded. Here you are. You're awesome. So set the tone. Yeah. Good question. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. I know my welcome. All right, yeah, I want to give it up for our guest, Sedillo in the house. Jesenia Chavez in the house. And it's open mic for the people. So if you want to sign up, y'all get 5 minutes. And depending how things go, we might be able to do another round. But all genres are welcome. You're in a safe space. Well, we don't tolerate hate speech, so there's something like that. I have to go show you the door. But that hasn't happened. All right. So here's what we're gonna do next. So after the acknowledgement, I like to call it the Right Now Poetry Writing Workshop. And it's my quick little, like a 10-minute nada más writing opportunity. So you all have a paper, and you all have a pen or pencil. I think Sol or Luna gave you one. So what we're gonna do next? We're gonna do a little writing. Sometimes we don't get to sit down and just sit with our thoughts or write it down. I'm giving you guys the opportunity to do that. So what I have is a bag of prompts, and much love to Alex Petunia, the poetic Petunia, who comes up with a lot of these writing prompts. So all right. So I'm gonna pass you all a prompt. But before I go ahead and do that, and this, it's all very random. But before I do that, I just want to give 3 tips to everybody, or reminders, because I know a lot of us are already writers and things like that. But just some 3 reminders I want to share. The first one is, and Juan actually, he knows about these. We call these like the no rules to writing poetry, because you can write about anything, But here's some reminders. Number 1, don't worry about how you spell. Don't worry about spelling, because the whole point is to put your pen or pencil to paper and get your idea out. Don't worry spell it, let me erase it. The goal of all these tips, by the way, these reminders, is so that you just flow and get your natural thought out of your mind onto paper, without anything being. Don't worry about how you're spelling. Just keep going. As long as you recognize what it is you're writing, that's all good. The second tip is don't erase. Erasing can take up more time away from your thought and your stream of consciousness. You get really stuck just by erasing and then trying to replace it. Just keep going. If you know out of right away after you wrote something like that word, line through it and just keep running, keep going with the thought. And the third reminder, the third tip is you don't have to rhyme. Poetry doesn't have to rhyme. I've had students that were on a great flow and they wrote 2 stanzas already, right? 2 little chunks. And then they're just paused. And they're like, Miss, I can't think of a word that rhymes with gate, or I can't think of a word that rhymes with because. They're looking for that perfect word that fits with that sound. And it's just you don't have to make it right. You just keep going and keep going. You're losing your idea. You're losing that seed, the cool thing about writing this way, it's called stream of consciousness, where you're just flowing pen to paper and you're literally that raw idea is being birthed on the paper. And when you take these pauses, you're removing yourself from that experience and you're removing yourself from that thought, that idea. And you might still kind of remember it, but then it might go into the world of cliche. How someone else, so the advice people give you, well, it'll be a better day tomorrow, or we'll see how it goes, or what's those things that people, hopefully one day soon, or I don't know, just stuff that people give, generalities, and you're just anyway, that's a sure thing. But what about when you have someone that's getting there and talking to you and they're like, I understand what you're going through. And they give you specifics, like more specific, just their own ideas, thoughts, consultation, whatever, right? Like it feels better than, well, hopefully tomorrow's a better day. Like those are cliches. Like you when you're in that world and your stream of consciousness, you're in your mind, like really in your mind, in your zone, you're getting some golden like ideas and metaphors and just thoughts, like pure stuff, right? Like that isn't so what do you call it? Commercial, I guess. You know what I mean? You're not trying to give it a some plastic surgery or something. You're letting it look the way it intended to be. It's like, I don't know. So yeah, so all these tips are just to keep you in that zone. And at least I find it makes some really awesome poetry. It's more unique. And because you are in that subconscious, you're tapping into like that more dreamier side of your thought process, more imaginative, maybe obscure, you're tapping into the emotion. So those are the tips. So here we go. So I'm going to pass you all a prompt. And if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, okay, cool. If you writing is fully voluntary too. I'm going to give like, what do we give? Like 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. And then after the 4 or 5 minutes, if you want to share, you can share, or you can wait until open mic, till your name's called on open mic, however you want. Usually I say, hey, maybe I feel like sharing right now. And then, and then some folks might want to share it either on. Anyway, so that's what we do. And then we all get to have an awesome community literary arts escape together. Okay, so I'm going to tell you to write about. And then, no, you got to get the prompt. So, and then so you should have a paper. And if you need more paper, I have some more paper to give. We're gonna get one? Yay! Okay, I'm gonna grab one too. No taking back. No, okay. So I'm gonna put the timer we'll do 4 minute timer. 4 minutes. Oh man, here you put the pencil. Oh. There's no wrong way to write a poem. It just has to come from you. They're going to use however you're creative, connecting with what you have in your hand there. And I'll set it for 4 minutes. The last spot right here. I'm like, if anybody was finding me after I died, they'll know. They'll know where I was in my life. Okay, so I will go ahead and cut it there. If you're in a juicy spot, I'm happy for you. And I'm also sorry I had to interrupt you. But hopefully you can just pick it back up and try to reimagine or re-embody like where you were when you were in the middle of it, or maybe you finish it up. So so first of all, how do you guys feel? You got to write? How was that?
Good. Good.
Awesome. That's excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. I was telling this again too, but I was like, one of my secrets of doing that with the reading is so that also I get a chance to write, because I feel like I don't take any time, or not as much as I should. So it's great to kind of keep up on. Okay, so first, before I get those, I'll take those back, the prompts. But I want to ask, does anybody want to share? Or maybe feel like, hey, this is awesome. I want to share with you right now. You can also share it during open mic time. Up to you. But would anybody like to share with you?
I'll share.
Great, Nathan.
Do I have to stand up?
If you want to, it's your choice.
Oh, this is inspired by a tarot reading I did before I came. The girl had similar problems that I had. The problem with father. I told her what I would tell everybody. You don't have to count it. Love without understanding sometimes requires cutting off a limb. Father, mother, brother. These are not always kinship. Real camaraderie is love tempered by understanding. Boy that needs your reaction to something or lack. Right.
Crisis. I feel like sometimes people don't know how to communicate what they're feeling, or they're scared to, and without any communication, like no other move can be made. You're just like stuck. And for any type of relationship, like,
All love in the world doesn't mean anything about understanding.
I feel like unconditional love is the best, and that's when you accept someone for everything who they are, and that it's just it's love. So that's the best that is given, and things are shaking. Anyone else want to share?
Nathan inspired me to want to lead some.
All right.
And it was like
I was uptown early, found parking next to massages. I was allergic at the time, and I arrived early before all my sneezes sabotaging my mind and flushing red color anxiety type spaces. Still feel like coughing, closed eyes, nose, and throat 3 years. And the bubble breathes like a deep sleep, but still fighting to gain my life. And what's left. Spend $60 tabs on fancy enchiladas and loading liquid spice. And all I can say to myself is 88,600, 88,600, 88,600. And the mulatto man knows I'm up to something boring, bored, eyeball death at my face, swear the register ain't my end game. I came to play dangerous on the open mic, laughing in the face of viral gyro, jive ranticus, jump backs for the open.
Nice. That was like jazz too. I love you had a good rhythm. Curious, what prompt did you get?
Oh, it was.
Oh, darn it.
It mattered. It hit me when I read it, and now it's gone.
Okay. No, but that's
So-
cool.
Oh, write an ode to your pen.
Oh, what?
That's what it was. Right.
That's great. And Nico, what's your prompt?
Write something fiery.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
believe when you speak the truth, respect, you're stepping forward with fire. There's earth, which is being calmed down to earth. There's being too much air, which is usually being too full of too much thought. And there's fire, you're shutting up and doing.
Love it. Thank you. Anybody else want to share? Luna?
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Good job. Anyone else want to share? Hi, welcome. Welcome to Mike Night and Midnight. Glad to have you here. I'll share. Mine's in Spanish. Cristian, mi chiquito enanito, siempre eres bonito, como el canto de los ángeles, puro y admirable, como te gusta ser a todo rey, enseñas el alma que tienes dentro de ti. Tus ojos de miel como los de los que son frescos, que dirían orgullosos estamos de ti. Hermano del alma, te amo, te adoro, y quisiera que tú pudieras verte con mis ojos y poder ver el amor en la misma vida.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Welcome to my night. There's some seats available.
This one here.
Yeah.
One here.
Anyone else want to share? We just had a whole writing, we did a little mini writing workshops, but I'm sharing from what we wrote right now. But also, if you want to be on the mic, all summer are welcome to share, and we give 5 minutes if you don't want to sign up. If you can. All right. So I wanted to share what I was starting to write. I was getting into one of my memories. So just kudos to Alex for tuning in. She did these really like well thought out prompts. Like she goes into like 3 layers. Like me, my prompts are like, think of something that bothers you. You know, how were you in 3rd grade? You know, she's like, when you were in 3rd grade, think about what you really enjoyed to touch. How did that make you feel? Or, you know, like she'll get really in depth in your thoughts. And you're like, whoa. So she wrote, the one I had was, when was the last time you played in the playground? and all that. And ironically, before we got here, we were all in a park. It was like the kids here were in the playground. But I didn't play. But here we go. I was on the playground. Oh, there. I was on the playground today and just soaked up the swing. My son was rocking back and forth, looking so loud. They make swings that look like recliners. Tan, like the sand, wide for the largest comfort sought by age. I remember a time when I had made a swing out of rope, a wooden pallet. I hung it from the laundry line. I was about 8 years old, excited to have a real playground in my own backyard. I was digging into the swing, legs outstretched, pulling back in, then out. So my face smashed down into the dirt. A mistake of my deep rocking tilted. I didn't get any. But yeah, oh my God, I was so excited to have that. Like, you're like, yeah, I don't know. You ever grew up alone in your own yard, no niños but you, and you're just, you're here all the time in your head. So having that like swing was really cool. But I was like, I was leaning all the way back. And my God, I remember my teeth were all bloody, and then my dad was smoking like, why did you do this? It was no sweet sensitive lows. But anyway, I can't wait to talk more about that. Yeah, so thank you. Okay, so cool. Like you can send up your prompts, we'll take those, and the pencils you can probably put them, or hold on to it and put on the table. But we'll go ahead and get started with our mic, and we have two amazing teachers, poetas in the house. And I also want to say, today is the 53rd anniversary of the Chicano Moratorium. And yeah, right? I always love when there's really when words are really put into action, right? When we do things, when there's movement. With movimiento, there's gonna be a reaction, right? Every action there's equal and opposite reaction. That's the thing. And it's a scientific theory. So with the 53rd the anniversary of the Chicano Moratorium, first, like I just wanted to share what happened and why it happened. And I know I got some scholars from the house probably will tell you more about it. But nevertheless, in 1970, I think it was August 29, 1970, the Chicano Moratorium happened, where it was, a protest by Chicanos, Chicanx, right? Protesting against going to the war in Vietnam. That's really what it was. Saying, like, we're not going to go. We're not going to go to Vietnam. And for a few key reasons. One was that they, on paper, were American citizens, the Chicanos, Latinx, right? They, because they were U.S. citizens, American citizens, that made them eligible, young men, eligible to go into war as soon as you're 18, right? And the Vietnam War, the draft. That's when everything was called. You're 18, oops, here's your paper, we need you for this work. So a lot of folks protested, but in particular, the Chicano Moratorium was about protesting, the Vietnam War and not the Chicanos not to go, because the people that were coming back in the body bags, the people that were being killed in the Vietnam War were mostly people of color and especially Chicanos. So that was one thing, that they were being used, like they were expendable. And the second thing was, though they were U.S. citizens on paper, they were not being treated equally or fairly like citizens or like their lighter shade counterparts, the Caucasian folks, and we know the fight is worse, it's like, it goes down the color spectrum. The fight is harder and harder the darker your skin. So for the Chicanos to be drafted into a war where they're not getting treated like citizens of their own country, they're not given the same, equity, the same, opportunity, there was racism, segregation, all that, so it's like, you're going to ask me to go fight for you, and you're not even treating me like I belong, like I'm valued here, and I'm like my people are the first to be getting killed at home. And and you're young, you're 18, you're starting your life, you're like, wow.
I finished school, now what am I doing? Like, they want to send me to go to school. That's where it all, that's the core of it, of the moratorium, and why the protest happened. And also, there was already a movement with the the Chicano movement. There was already, action being taken. I know Matt can say a lot more about it. So I'm getting some facts wrong, but there's really good books in here, y'all. I should have put these on the back of these. But there's some really good information about the movimiento, the Brown Beret, Chicano power, all that. In this space, and that's also why it's a real honor for us to be in a space like this type of bookstore where there's truth, there's real truth being offered to our community, not to mention mutual aid to our community, when those students attached just because it's like those who I love that's what I love about this space. So we're here in that spirit too of camaraderie, community, we're here because we're also, I call it creative community. A lot of us are artists and stuff. So we use our power, use our tools. Our power is, while all of us have the power of our words, all of us have the power of our thoughts and ideas. When we speak those thoughts and ideas out and use them and put them into movement, things happen, changes happen. That's also what's so great about the Chicano moratorium is that people united to stand up for something or to stop something from happening to them, to like them, through 2 years later, knowing the history and memory, right? So, and there's still work to be done, but we're the we're the descendants of that work, and we gotta keep changing. So that's why we're here. It's a real special day to be here. Again, we have Sedillo and Jesenia Chavez, and we got open mic for the people. So I'm gonna go ahead. Let's launch the mic. We got to, because we're good. We're doing good. I call it poet time. We're on good poet time. So we're gonna kick it off. So Nathan, ready? I know. Well, I've been up here chatting for a bit, so you're kind of. I warmed things up. All right, let's hear for me.
All right.
We wrote this earlier this week. I mean, if you have known me, I think I've been doing this book series about gentrification in LA for about 5-6 years. And this is from my 7th book that I'm working on right now. A little preamble. Everyone by this point knows that gentry or people that invest in property, that they raise your rent, they charge $12 for a beer, $23 for burnt toast with avocado on it, et cetera, but the problem isn't just them. The problem is what I like to call I'll just jump into it. This is one parody of somebody I feel like that pretends that they're part of the solution, but they're just a part of the problem too. Pershing Square, Los Angeles, August 23rd, 2:35 p.m. Jesenia Philanthropiste. That's not a real last name. You'll see the reason why I call it. That surveyed the main stage area of Pershing Square. The sound of traffic off of Fifth and Hill blending with shouts and last-minute instructions between all of her unpaid and overrun interns. Each and every one of them laboring under the misconception that she was some sort of social justice Santa Claus. A large banner hung above the stage with the following: 3rd annual Punks y Pochos Festival. The rent is too damn high. Nosotros, los anarchistas, gimme equity. Down with capitalism. Down with the metal patriarchy. Except for my gentry boyfriend, Todd, of course. Because, he's got connections to foundation money from his family and stuff. So he's like one of the good ones. I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. Jesenia brought out her phone and made sure the brightness was low enough that any onlookers wouldn't be able to see what she was doing. Opening up DoorDash, she ordered a farm-to-table chirashi salad with an organic, free trade, and-heart nitrogen, miso foam and white flake, non-alcoholic sake mocktail from her favorite transplant-centric, gentry capitalist funded, corrupt landlord owned, Japanese fusion bistro off of Central and First in Little Tokyo. Demand for the property in that area having skyrocketed in the last 2 years, the bistro had recently popped into the lease space. Following the forced and highly illegal eviction of its previous owner, a family-owned legacy restaurant by the name of Sedillo. And I'm actually talking about a real restaurant here called Sedillo, which was recently evicted by this racist landlord in Little Tokyo. So I base all of this off stuff that's actually happened. So I'm being a little emotional. Just about to finalize her order for this Yana thought better of it and added a few humble fare extras for the order. Seared in Gawa and Tobiko Road or salad for the paltry price of $23 to $31 per topping, and multicolored edible coral powder for the river for mocktail. This boosted the total for lunch from $93 to roughly an even $148, give or take a few dollars for tip and delivery fee. That was okay though. She would be adding a custom tip of a petty and insulting $2.75 for the delivery driver. If associating with gentry under the radar of her pseudo SJW scheme for donation and foundation money had taught her nothing else, it was that it's okay to split oneself in secret, but never the people you so eloquently pretend to advocate for and empathize with. Submitting her order for the Sierra felt a moment of guilt, but only briefly, as she initiated a whispered auto litany to push it quickly into her unconscious, where it would fester as soul decaying neurosis for years to come. I'm doing me. I work hard, so I mean other people's donations and foundation money do all the work, so I don't have to. I deserve to come up. I'm doing the true work. I believe in people over profit with slogans, resume boosting events, and empirical data, not an actuality. My 3 degrees in legal psychiatry and communications theory, the ones I never used because my expensive wardrobe, $200 haircut, and practice apathy are what make me the copper and polished monster for the job. On and on and on she's going, self-hypnotizing herself into believing her hypocrisy was for the better good, internally patting herself on the back for the event and in Pershing Square, thinking about the 24% of the donations her and the other board members had allocated to the charitable causes associated with the event after they had pocketed the other 76%. Little did she know that eyes were on her every move, agents of the unspoken debt she had accrued by pretending to advocate the fight of the poor, while her and every organization she had ever worked for threw bare minimum crumbs in the direction of the people that they pretended to champion. On the roof of the building off of 6th and Hill, 2 members of Sisters, Others, and Brothers watched Feliciana with binoculars. Now that's like they're like the movie Fight Club, like everyone that's under the radar that's looking at you, watching out. Fully intent and ready to work with their tribe to lay down the truth in a big way. Jasmine, Bill Preacher, and Vicky Barman smiled as they passed the joint, ready to go once the sun went down. Yeah, I got all kinds of made up things.
Love it. Honestly, I want to hear that. We gotta see, we gotta have plays in your work,
These
you know.
this stuff that I write from arguing. This is me arguing with lawyers and nonprofits and people that I'm like, who tell me, oh, you hate education, I hate it too. I'm like, okay, then why did I see you at Dodger Stadium? Why did I see you at this country restaurant in your stories? Why? And I'm like, if you believe all this, then show me something.
It's tough. No, I'm glad you found me, so that's important. And documenting.
I'm just bitter. I'm just kidding.
All right, give it up for Nathan one more time. Okay, next we're gonna bring up Erica Melara. Short and sweet. Despertar, abro los ojos con gran lentitud. Trato de no abrirlos talentos completamente. Entre el sueño y la victoria, pienso e imagino cosas en la realidad y en el internet. Esa versión creada durante la noche, donde no hay densidad, donde existen en plena totalidad. En esa existencia podemos trascender, podemos distinguir, así conseguimos tocar, poder, oír y expandir nuestros sentidos. Simplemente existir y vivir. Just like me. So, thank you. I'm so glad you came. And sitting out with us. And he's at the Poet Society. And actually, I want to ask Juan to come up with it, but I want to let you all know where Juan and Erica, they were at an open mic in North Hollywood called Open Mic for the Strike. So it was actually organized by a youth who organizes, and that's what I want to talk about, like what happened there, what you saw there. But a junior from one of the high schools in the Valley organized an open mic for the strike, and it was a fundraising event, and the money went to it was, I think it was like an arts fund or community arts fund that was affiliated with the strike. So I was just like blown away because the youth like wrote to us and said, "Hey, we can support." And so we shared the information. But yeah, Juan and Erica there. But can you tell us about that and what happened? Like I'm just blown away because it's like he's 17 and he got the community together. That's like a big deal. No, this is it.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, I went to Juan Carlos, and I went to the open mic in North Hollywood at a dog house. That's the place. It was really cool because well, it was packed when I got there, and somebody was reading Shakespeare, like a really long Shakespeare piece out of his head, and I was like, whoa, I was pretty excited for that. And also, they were very welcoming as I walked in. They had a signing sheet, but they would give a beer to all. So you would get a free beer. So I was like, what? I was not expecting that. And again, being that a teenage organist, I was surprised. His parents were very supportive. Like there were a lot of his moms that were there, and there were plenty of adults, right? Like there was like no one raised. Like, or at least not that I saw. But yeah, it was a great time. I mean, it just blew my mind that they have the performers for that. I'm a performer, and sometimes you don't even get that. You know what I mean? Like not even something like like 2 years. But sometimes so for them to extend that, to people just have a good time. They were like fathers. Everybody was having a good time. And it felt very family. His family was there, and I got to basically like his mom and dad, his uncle, and that's it. It was really cool. I felt so home. Like, I told them, you guys, I just felt I wanted to go with them.
Was that the art?
Yeah, it was a doghouse like the ship.
By the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I lived in North Hollywood on there. I grew up growing up. I love that. It's changing. Oh, I was the only person that played music. Everybody else was sharing poetry, and I started playing. Yeah, that was it.
All right.
That's what I was
Last 1 minute. I would have loved it by myself. I stayed in the school. But like I love this too, and like just like they're kind of also advocating for well, yes, not kind of, but also advocating for Los Angeles playing representing, and also his own musical self and knowledge itself. So yeah, it was really cool. But they could be there to support and okay, was there there a question?
Sorry, sorry.
Oh, you wanna read? Okay, share, yes. You ask.
So, sorry.
Well, sorry, Lynn.
The only thing is I have people I